this is boring. Let's talk about the Japanese Grand Prix. I think it depends what you watch racing for. Similar to keeping score in baseball, I take a lot of notes when watching Formula One, and I like to pay attention to every single driver, figure out what's going on during the race, see if I can figure out the strategy calls and what's going on. Now, I think that's about 20% of the F1 population probably does that. I understand if you were casually watching this race, you were pretty bored. And of course, if you're only following one driver, one team, and they don't do well, they didn't live up to your expectations, you probably didn't enjoy this race, and I completely understand that. I didn't lie to you. I do like Suzuka, and I thought we were gonna have a great race, because every other series seems to manage just fine. So what happened in this one specifically? The track was resurfaced. Unfortunately, I didn't know that was gonna happen, and maybe Pirelli didn't? The track was resurfaced, which meant just low tire degradation for everybody. Second, Pirelli went with the hardest compounds. Now this track is known for being tough on all the forces needed to race on tires. Pirelli thought that, I thought that, smarter people, dumber people than me all thought that. And maybe the Pirelli compounds were too good. Could we have potentially gone a step softer? Yes, but of course we do the best with the information that we have from previous races and the Pirelli testing. They did the best with what they could. The last factor that people are talking about is dirty air. A, ensuring the cars lost less downforce in turbulent air, and B, also produced less turbulence. In F1's research in 2021, a 2021 Formula One spec car could lose up to 47% downforce just 10 meters behind another car. And I believe they said around 35% at 20 meters. And now that's 18% and 4% respectively. Now it's currently being said that all the innovations that teams have come up with, whether it's through loopholes or the floor changes, that has actually caused an increase in turbulent air following the car. Because there's been so much more aerodynamic development from this previous rule set that 2026 will be seen with fresher, understanding eyes. But with the field so close in 2025, I think we're expected just to hear so much about dirty air throughout the entire season. Which means for the next 21 races, passing will be difficult. Now, one of the biggest teams to talk about is McLaren. They have all the pieces. They can't seem to just put them together. It was a conscious choice to undercut Oscar Piastri instead of Lando Norris, and then pit Lando Norris at the same exact time as Max Verstappen, rather than potentially attempt an overcut. Again, McLaren team principal Andrea Stella said post-race that if they pit Norris first, that would have left Piastri exposed to Leclerc and Russell, though that actually wasn't the case. Russell was not an issue whatsoever. However, McLaren didn't know that. They did the best with what they could with the information that they had. Supposedly, if they kept Norris longer, he potentially would have lost positions to other cars, including Oscar Piastri. This goes back to the big lack of tire degradation. There was no offset. Everyone could have pushed and everything was fine. I think it was lap 15 when they told Lando Norris that there was no grading on his medium tires. Norris also said in the post-race press conference they could have tried something different with the strategy. And also, my issue is, are they communicating these decisions to the drivers? Are they telling Oscar what they're seeing through the strategy, that it's not worth it? Are they telling Lando Norris the same thing? There seems to be just a constant communication issue there. A lot of people are asking, what about swapping the cars? Again, McLaren says that they don't think that it was clear that Piastri was totally faster. Lando was trying to get into Max's slipstream, but anytime he went below 1 second, there was a significant loss of grip. Was Piastri really that much faster? If you're looking at these charts on Piastri's track dominance versus Max and Norris's, as well as their lap times, on average, yeah, a couple tenths faster and obviously dominant in certain sections, but again, that's no guarantee. They would have to do the switch, which would one, cost time. Two, you would also have to then hope that Piastri does pass Max. Now, remember last week, George Russell said that Suzuka would be where we saw McLaren's true pace. So where was that pace? Again, to quote McLaren, they were stuck in a rabbit hole. The car's full potential wasn't reached on Saturday, and it couldn't be tapped into Sunday. It's supposedly the fastest car on the grid. However, even then, with the race trim that they had, they just couldn't get close and pass. I know the big thing everyone's talking about is when Verstappen and Norris pit on the same time, and they both went out. First of all, on my F1 TV, they were showing me the Ferrari pit stop. While I see in the corner of my eye, they're both going for one lane, and I was like, what are we doing? What is this TV direction? Who is not paying attention in there? And you know what? I really think that whole situation was a nothing burger. I think if the roles were reversed, Max would have attempted the same thing. I thought it was a little fun argy-bargy. Max was clearly ahead of the line, and they joked about it in the cool-down room. Anyway, I know for this weekend, everyone was also looking at Yuki Tsunoda. Qualified 15th, 14th after the Carlos Sainz penalty, and came in 12th during the race. A lot of people aren't talking about it now. I think everyone was hyped for the race, and then because he came in P12, people think there's nothing to talk about or nothing to hype. He didn't need to match Verstappen. He needed to do better than Lawson, which isn't that hard because Lawson was in P20, and he just needed to showcase that he can control the car without incident, without slipping, etc. And he also stated post-race that he played it really safe, and that now that he knows, he would have done a lot of things better, but he's excited for the next race weekend. He obviously wants to keep learning, and he's excited to extract more from the car and himself, and that's the kind of speak that we love to hear. Then again, of course, you gotta mention Liam Lawson, because people are always comparing the two. They had a classic Racing Bulls strategy gamble. Running long on the mediums, switching to softs, left him in P17. Don't forget Carlos Sainz and Williams tried to do the same thing, left him at P15. We'll obviously expect more from them in Bahrain, but the underlying potential that we saw in Suzuka looks great. Here's our rookie watch for 2025. Kimi Antonelli. I haven't given him enough credit. And I will say it, I will admit when I'm wrong when I get presented new information. Shocking, I know. He was struggling in practice. He said he went to Valtteri Bottas and got help and assistance from him on doing a better racing line, on asking what he can just do better in general. Then he got P6 and he stayed P6. According to the Mercedes garage, he's just constantly in his own data, asking questions and diving into it. And I haven't seen that from a driver or heard that about a driver in a long time. Back in my day, the drivers actually used to work on their own cars. If that gives you any indication of how long I've been watching Formula One. Oliver Bearman, let's go. That's exactly. The people thought I was crazy when I thought Bearman is just a top tier rookie. I put him second behind Antonelli. I want that man in a better car, and I hope he gets his chance in a Ferrari. Haas did have an upgrade on their floors, and it worked out perfectly for Bearman. He got P10 in the points. You're seeing him maintain that race pace. You're seeing him fight for positions, racing cleanly, and I'm so excited for him. And Isaac Hadjar in the points. Got to redeem himself. Finally, Bortoleto, unfortunately, did not work out for him. Started on the hards, lost 3 positions. Well, especially if you're on a hard compounds and there are people around you who are on softer compounds, it's not going to work out well for you. And they just couldn't get it back. He's in a Sauber. Jack Doohan was doing his best, was asked to swap with Pierre Gasly. At least he's not last. Unfortunately, Franco Colapinto has been seen doing testing laps in an Alpine and putting up extremely impressive lap times. Donut break. You might be wondering what happened to Aston Martin, and it was the wind. The team had its suspicions that its difficulties were triggered by the 180-degree change of wind direction from Friday to Saturday, which made the car a bit of a handful and bouncy a little bit. And that just goes to show you how sensitive these cars are. I also want to shout out just George Russell again, because I think I saw him once on the broadcast when he went off track. Otherwise, yet again, no one brought him up. And thank you so much for watching. Some quick housekeeping. Let me know if you enjoyed this format where I hit the main topic conversation points as opposed to going through every single team. And some new things coming for the next race weekends is on Sunday, right after the race, I will try to post a reaction talking through video of exactly what happened and what I need to dive deeper in for this Tuesday video, kind of to be first to market. I was told by an expert that's a great way to get the viewership. So if you are interested in any other topics or want me to talk about anything, please let me know. I'd love to hear your opinion because this is for you guys. Have a great one. Remember to support local, including your racetracks.